What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. What's cracking? Came across this video randomly. I guess Cedric Cornbread Maxwell has a podcast. And the title of it, you clicked on it yourself, basically is Larry Bird preventing a 80s Boston Celtics reunion. So let's see what all this is about. I'm curious. All right, let's get into it.
That's the thing, the beauty of it that was so cool when we had the little portion when I did the thing with Isaiah, and we talked about different things. And I think it was I want to say it was actually at that time, it might have been Ricky Mahorn. And he said the three teams that need to have a reunion would be the Celtics, the Lakers, and the Pistons. He said the Pistons had one. He said the Lakers, and then he went on and he said the Bulls definitely should have one. But he said their two best players right now don't get along. And then he made a point of saying, well, why don't the Celtics have one? And then he chimed in and said, well, maybe because their best player, Larry Bird, doesn't want to talk to any of them.
CLNS History is powered by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
I was like, I don't know if that's true. I would hope that Larry, feels a certain way about us. That you win multiple championships with a guy, it's hard to dislike him or dislike the people that you play with or against.
Right. Well, I just feel like Larry's the kind of guy who just keeps to himself, right? Maybe people take that personally, or maybe that's just, I don't see him as the kind of guy to be like, man, we have to do this. He's just not that kind of guy, but you don't take that as like he doesn't like his former teammates, or would you? I don't know. What do you think, man?
Man, I don't know because I guess I've been together with a bunch of those guys, and we all are clamoring, I think, to get together to have something. Everybody pretty much I talked to, Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale and ML Carr and Nate Archibald and Gerald Henderson. A lot of people are clamoring to just get together. And the one time that we did get together, and that was at the autograph signing, I think you were there, Josue, with your camera.
Yeah. Nate was there.
And you could tell that the relationship and the camaraderie with the guys that were together, it was just really cool. It was really, really cool. Good stuff to see.
The Cedric Maxwell podcast is brought to you by FanDuel.
So I guess a couple things I want to talk about, really only 2 points. So Rick Mahorn said that comment, I don't think maybe Bird doesn't want to talk to any of these guys or something along those lines. For context, Rick Mahorn played for the Detroit Pistons about 4 years while in that 1980s period, I think maybe even into the early 90s for maybe one of those years. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, so he was a part of that Detroit Pistons, Boston Celtics rivalry. So I got to take that into context. But to say, I don't think Larry Bird just wants to talk to any of those guys. That sounds, how do you put it like that? That sounds very negative. And it sounds like instead of adding context to maybe your idea and saying, maybe Larry Bird doesn't really feel like congregating with people because at his core, he's an introvert, as opposed to he don't want to talk to those guys. That's how it sounds like it comes off. Like, yeah, he ain't trying to talk to those guys. Like, which could I don't have to know Larry Bird personally to understand, based on everything I've watched, that's not Larry Bird's MO. And everything I've learned about his relationship with his teammates and how his teammates have publicly projected their feelings about him and how he has publicly projected his feelings about his teammates and the love for basketball and camaraderie between all of them, that doesn't fit the bill. Rick Mahorn, that shouldn't have came out your mouth, at least not like that. because it gives negative connotations to the statement. I'm sorry. It does. Now, let's just say if he did mean it like that, that's how he wanted to pose that statement, how it comes off, at least to me. It's just not true. And I don't have to ask Larry, because you never know what's going on in someone's mind. I don't have to ask Larry to know that that's not accurate at all. At all. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit the bill, man. Wasn't his own. So I think maybe there is some distaste there for Larry. I don't know what their personal relationship was like, but I know what the relationship was like with the Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons. And I know Larry ain't got no ill will. If Larry had ill will towards anybody, it would be what's that fool's name? Why do I always forget this fool's name? But I know it so well. It doesn't make any sense. Lambert. If you had distaste for anybody on the Pistons, it'd probably be Lambert. Now, you guys that live in the 80s, maybe you could tell me something different and I'm wrong. And even with that, with all that squabbling and back and forth that him and Lambert went through, Larry still didn't have hate in his heart for Bill Lambert. Not hate. So I can't imagine he would feel some type of way about Mahorn for Mahorn to make a statement like that. That's how I'm looking at it. How he posed that, it doesn't come off right, whether he meant it or not. Now, so then the other guy, I don't know who he is, the guy that was talking to Cedric, was like, I don't really take that as a, Larry Bird is like, I don't like my teammates. I don't want to talk to my teammates. I don't like my teammates. And then he asked Cedric, well, what do you think? And Cedric was like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? That part bothered me, where he said, I don't know. Cedric Cornbread Maxwell, you played with Larry Bird for what, 6 years? Won 2 championships with Bird. And like I said earlier, anything anybody's ever said in that locker room, love Bird, and vice versa. I've even heard somebody say there's never been any real squabbling or drama in the locker room. The team chemistry, the camaraderie was always S tier. Everybody was always on the same page. Everybody always got along. Everybody always loved playing together. No real, detrimental explosions or blow-ups or controversies were involved with that team through the years. That's what I have publicly heard, and I've never heard of anything getting out that was serious. So for Cedric Maxwell to say, I don't know, instead of, that's absolutely not the case. We got love for Bird, and Bird loves us. That is where I have a problem. I don't know. Come on, man. You do know. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. There is no concrete proof that Larry Bird is preventing a 1980s Celtics reunion, at least that I've seen. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. And for Mahorn to just say that out of the blue, this is just a rumor that Mahorn created. Literally. You shouldn't do that to nobody. Definitely don't do that shit to Bird. And you shouldn't do it to nobody. You're starting a rumor, Mahorn. And Maxwell, I don't like you saying I don't know about that. What should have came out of your mouth was, like I said, yeah, that ain't. I know Larry Bird. I've been in the locker room with Bird for years. He's not that type of guy. At his core, he's an absolute introvert. But but once you get to know him and he opens up, it is all love. And he always respects everybody, whether he knows you or he doesn't know you. So if for some reason, let's just say this was true, and Larry Bird declined to go, you have to understand the personality. It's all love, all day, every day. But he's the absolute introvert. And plus, all you guys are older now. You know how once you get older, you just kind of don't want to deal with people. Not saying that this is the case, but it's kind of normal when you get older. You don't want to deal with people, especially introverts. You just kind of want to be inside your own peace, but it's nothing personal. Nothing personal. I can't talk to Larry Bird. I can't ask him. But what I can say is that it has nothing to do with any distaste for his teammates or just not wanting to congregate with him because he doesn't like them and he doesn't want to be around their presence because of some negative stigma somewhere. That is not the case. So Rick Mahorn, get the hell out of here for starting this BS rumor. And Maxwell, you gotta do a better job representing your teammate, man. A guy you was in the trenches with, a guy that you had many memorable moments with, shared highs, shared lows. You got to talk better, man. Because I know if the shoe was on the opposite foot, Larry wouldn't have been like, I don't know. Larry would have been like, no, I know Cedric and that ain't Cedric. And I haven't spoke with him to ask him any of these questions, but I do know him and I know that's not the case. That's a horrible Larry Bird impersonation. I'm sorry. I've done better ones in the past, but yeah. Sorry, Mahorn. Keep your mouth shut. Stop spreading rumors. That never came out of Larry Bird's mouth. And there's been nothing, at least released publicly, to suggest that. And at the end of the day, you should probably ask the guy. And let's say, even if Larry Bird was like, I'm just an introvert, love my teammates, but I got stuff I'm doing at home. I just want to stay home, be with my family, be with my wife. Okay, you can't be mad about that. This is a reunion. A reunion can happen anytime, any day. Make it work between everybody. You got 5 reunions in a year if you wanted to. This isn't like a Hall of Fame speech or a Hall of Fame induction where this happens for your boy, for your homeboy, one time in his entire life. This is his moment, getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's different than a reunion, which has the utmost flexibility in scheduling. I don't want to hear it. No. Sorry. And Cedric, nice guy. Your tone wasn't condescending or mean or anything like that, but I just don't like how you said I don't know instead of being like I do know. And I agree with you. That ain't Larry Bird. I was in that locker room firsthand. I could tell you what the energy is like. I could tell you what Larry Bird was like. I could tell you how everybody's relationships were with each other. I could tell you all that. I know. And there, I have never seen anything in that locker room. I've never heard anything from any players in that locker room to suggest that Larry would have some type of ill will towards any of these guys. And if he doesn't want to go, it should not be personal at all, because we know where Larry stands with us, his teammates. That's all I got to say. Y'all let me know what you think about it. Throw your middle fingers up at Rick Mahorn. It's the type of stuff I can't stand in sports, man. And, let me know what you think about it. Thank you for stopping in. Peace, love, and happiness to you all. And I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.